Preeya, I have 3 sons and a steak is what they always want to eat. But if you want to twist it up a little bit and make it a little bit more interesting, here's a great way of doing it. Now, you can see I've got a lovely porterhouse steak and it's got that lovely bit of fat on the outside, which we know is going to be delicious. You love that bit, don't you?
Well, it's not great for your cholesterol and heart health, but let's see what you do with it.
It's too big a word for me.
Cholesterol.
Now, what I'll do is I'm going to take a little bit of that fat off because I like to use it because we don't want to waste anything, do we?
No.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that fat I'm going to put in the pan, and the pan's already on nice and low. So we'll start to render down some of that fat, and you'll hear that starting to sizzle just a little bit. I'll turn it up just a fraction because this is got a 10-minute meal, isn't it?
Yep.
We want this to happen really, really quickly.
Yep.
So what we start with is the steak. And what I'll do is I'll turn it on the side like this, and with my knife, I'm going to cut it nice and thin. So I've got these lovely little strips here like this.
Yes.
This
Sharp knife helps.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, this will do a couple of things. This will make sure that the meat cooks really quickly, but also because we're going to marinate it, it'll make sure that the marinade gets into it nice and easily.
Nice, it'll pick up all the flavour. So what cut of meat are you using here?
This is the strip loin or the porterhouse, we like to say. You can use any cut that you want. You could use any type of meat that you want. And even your butcher may have it cut nice and fine already, but I like to do it myself.
You do, because he knows how to do it, but you could get it already cut, but you're saying thin, pick up all the flavour. We're going to start chucking stuff in here.
Okay, I want you to microplane some garlic and some ginger into the bowl. And as you can see, I'm using some of the fat in here because when you eat it, it helps to give it lovely moisture as well. So in goes the meat. Now, we're going to start adding some flavour to here, which is really easy to do. These are all the things that are in your pantry. We've only got 10 minutes, so we need to be able to do it really, really quickly.
Chop, Richo.
Exactly. Now, I've got some white pepper, so I tap some of that in there. About a teaspoon of white pepper. And I'm also using a little bit of coconut sugar just for some sweetness. If you don't have coconut sugar, you can use regular sugar, but just about a teaspoon of that as well. And you will notice just a tiny bit of sweetness. You don't have to put it in there if you don't want to.
Okay.
But I love putting it in there.
Yeah, nice.
Now, to give you some spice, I've got some Szechuan peppercorn, and I'll put about a tablespoon of that. And to give it some extra spice, I've got some of this chili paste here.
I like it. I like it. But if you had kids, so if I'm making this 10-minute meal for my family, I could leave out the Szechuan peppers, the chilli. Do you reckon it would still work?
Maybe just a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of black pepper, and that's about all you need. But my kids love the hot stuff.
Yes.
I've worked them into it and they love it.
They're big kids, yeah.
Now, I've added some tomato paste in there, and I'll also add, for some extra sweetness, some tomato sauce or ketchup. That's always around, and I know that when I put tomato sauce in anything, my kids are going to love it.
Okay.
Now, you've done that, the garlic
It's the
and
same
the
with
ginger?
my toddler, interestingly. Great.
Exactly. All right, there we go. Put that aside.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to put some corn flour in there, which helps to bind it all together and make the beef nice and sticky. So when it fries, the sauce stays with it. So about 2 tablespoons of that goes in there. And to help everything bind together, I've got 1 egg. Crack it like that. In there it goes.
Beautiful.
And then a little bit of vinegar as well to give it some sharpness. Now, pour that on there. And now all you need to do is stir it around with your tongs.
With my tongs, if I'm allowed to, Chef.
Now, while you're mixing that, we need to add some salt because salt loves meat, meat loves salt. And one of the things you need to be careful of, if you're adding lots of ingredients into a marinade like this, a lot of them have a lot of salt in there already. So do be careful and have a think about that. But I've got the right amount in there because, you know, these fingers know exactly how much salt should go into everything. Now, that's marinating beautifully. Normally, we would marinate for a while, you know, at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. But we're hungry and it's a 10-minute meal, so we need to get that flavour in there really, really quickly, which we've done, and we need to get it into the pan. Now, the beef is rendering nicely. You can see the fat's starting to come out of it.
Yeah.
I like that beef fat. I like the flavour that gets in there. And this is a really sort of healthy meal. So a little bit of beef fat's okay in your life.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
But I like it. You're adding some oil on top. Why not?
Oil and flavour, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Now, once you've got a little bit of heat in there and you can see there's heat coming in there, I grab the pieces of beef and just pop it into the pan. You can see it starting to sizzle away nicely. And it's just a matter of just adding this into the pan till you've got all these lovely bits and pieces in there, or you can just pour the whole lot in
10
there.
Minutes.
Exactly.
But also, I've got to say, this is smelling amazing. Like, I can smell the Szechuan peppers, the garlic, the ginger. It smells incredible. Yum.
It does. And the batter around the outside, all that marinade is going to help it thicken up nicely. Now, while I'm doing this, I've got 3 chilies there. If you can slice the chilies in half so that we can take the seeds out of it, we'll throw the whole lot in there. There we go. Last little piece in there. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to grab these 2 onions over here and slice them nice and thin. What I like to do is take the core out of it like this so that the onion falls apart. So I just slice it nice and thin all the way around.
I love this. I've actually had some secret chopping lessons with Richo, haven't I? Can we declare that?
Exactly.
He's had to bring me up to scratch, friends, and I think hopefully I'm there now. He lets me chop things for him.
There we
and
go.
puts them in his cooking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Onions nice and fine, and the chilies, I'm just going to slice them all the way through here.
So do you have to take the seeds out? Because I would leave them in.
You don't have to take the seeds out, but if you like a bit of extra spice, there's a lot of spice in the seeds, and I like to leave them in. So I've cut it all the way through there like that. Now, over here, I've got these lovely pieces of beef, and I'll turn them over. You can see it's starting to brown up nicely. There's plenty of heat in this pan here, and that'll brown up nicely. By the time I've turned all of these over, we'll have those spring onions chopped, the coriander chopped, and we're ready to finish the whole lot off. Okay, Preeya, so you can see we've got lovely brown, crusty beef in there.
Smells amazing.
It does. I had a little taste of it, and it's got some chilli in there as well.
Didn't offer me any, but never mind.
That's okay. Now put it in there, and what I'll do is put that aside because I don't want to overcook the beef.
That's your worst nightmare, isn't it?
Exactly.
Overcooking meat.
Exactly.
Takes some stress.
You can't do it. Now a little bit of oil in there, just a tiny bit, and in goes the onions and the ginger. Nice big chunky pieces of ginger. And we'll put the chilli in there as well. And now, I just want this to cook really sort of quickly and get a little bit of flavour all the way through without getting too crunchy. So a little bit of salt in there. Can you grab some pepper over there?
Yes.
We'll pop that in as well. Now, all we need to do is saute this off just a little bit till it softens up, and then we'll bring the whole thing together.
Beautiful.
Okay, Preeya, you can see the onions have softened up a bit. Now it's time to bring the whole thing together. So in goes the white parts of the spring onion. And if you can pass me the two sauces, the soy sauce, I'm using a dark soy, some chilli sauce. Knock the top off them. There we go. Pour them straight in. There we go.
Oh, how much? Go hard or go home? More?
Put it in there.
Put it in there.
Use
okay.
it like you stole
I feel like
it, Preeya.
that's enough.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, now some chilli in there as well. And look at the colour. We've got green, we've got red, we've got all those lovely, what do you call them, rainbows?
Yes, rainbows. Looks wonderful. And this is all counting in your veggie intake, the spring onions and things?
Exactly, lots of that.
Yes.
Toss that around a little bit. Now, if you pass me that bowl over there, now you can see, because we used the corn flour, it's starting to thicken up a little bit. So if you've got some water over there, you can add a little bit of water, which helps make it nice and saucy as well. I'll put about 2 tablespoons in there, and it's just a matter of just stirring that around just a little bit till it all comes together.
Whoa.
There we go. We're going to catch it everywhere.
Onions.
Look at that. And you've got the rice handy.
Very easy because it's in the microwave, Richo, so it means 10 minutes you've got rice as well.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's going to go beautifully with the beef. The beef looks great, nice and hot and spicy. A few deep fried shallots over the top to give it some crunch. Looking
Beautiful.
fantastic.
Looks amazing. I love all the rainbows in there. I'm looking forward to trying this one.
Lots of colour, and we're hoping lots of flavour and spice and juicy beef. That is sensational.
So many flavours in there. I love it. A real flavour hit. I would probably leave the fat out of it, just for cholesterol and heart health. I would probably throw more veggies through, like broccolini, snow peas, corn, just to bump up the veg, but I would make that. Easy.
Glad you would make it because I would eat it for sure.